Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Tilray brands. It is time for another update, and as mentioned in the previous videos, while we are here still in an overall all-time downtrend basically, we are able to consider a more significant bottom to be in place here within the interpretation of having an ABC movement that has completed here to the downside. And if we are looking here for some targets, we can even notice that within this latest movement, within this latest wave to the downside, we have barely exceeded here the 100% extension, which is the ideal target for wave C, and nothing anywhere close realistically for or to the ideal target of a wave 3, which would have been the 138.2% extension of the wave 1. And in this case we are able to consider that a more significant bottom has already formed within this structure. Now I'm not outruling the possibility of extensions lower, but with the current structure of the chart, especially here in the smaller time frame, I am able to look for a larger pattern that could have started here to the upside. A pattern that could actually even form such a significant and large uptrend that could take us realistically even to new all-time highs, especially if this has only been an A, B, C structure to the downside. Now in the smaller time frame we have a potential initial 5-wave move to the upside here in a 1, 2, 3, 4th and a 5th, and the only thing that I don't really like about this structure, well, it is a 5-wave move and we have what seems to be even an impulse to have formed in this area, we have failed to reach the ideal target for the wave 3, which is the 138.2% extension of the wave 1 around the $18.4 level. Surely enough, we did reach it afterwards. We got even to the 161.8% extension overall within this wave 5 at the very least, but we did not reach the ideal target, and it does hurt overall the reliability of this chart, or maybe not of this chart but of this structure to the upside. And while the most important factor for the wave 3 reaching the ideal target is having a reliable wave 4 area of support to track and to track for continuation to the upside in wave 5, we did get the area of support in the wave 4 to be held. If we actually check here, the area of support would have been touched perfectly at the ideal target, the 38.2% retracement, and we did get a 5th wave in the end, which means that while we did not reach the ideal target within the wave 3, we did manage to create a reliable 5-wave move to the upside. It's just not pitch perfect to have reached the ideal target for the internal wave 3 as well. Now, since we formed this wave 1 top, we are able to track an area of support for the correction within the wave 2 between the $11.3 all the way down to the $5.2 level at the 78.6% retracement, and as long as we actually hold here this area of support, we can look with decent probabilities for a reversal to the upside into a wave 3. And since we have a possible bottom within this wave 2 already, we can even look for an ideal target for the wave 3, and that would be at the 138.2% extension of the wave 1, which is at the $94 level. Now the thing is, even though we have a potential 1-2 setup and we could expect a third wave to play out indeed, we need to remember always that this could also form just a larger ABC movement, in which case the ideal target would be far less at the 100% extension of the wave 1, the $45.7 level. And in such a case, I do want to remind you that that is just that, an ideal target, and we don't need to get there. Also, indeed, we don't need to stop there. Now internally within this move to the downside, while it can be tracked as a 3-wave pattern within this wave 2, there is really nothing stopping us from being able to track a 5-wave move to the downside within certain interpretations. And in such a case, we do still need to be aware of the resistance area that we have here in orange that we were able to provide here on this channel ever since we actually formed this bottom within this supposed wave 2 in green. And I would still need to see here a break above the $17.8 level, the last level of resistance, for a signal that this structure is likely going to manage to form the next 5-wave move to the upside. Now this remains also as a high probability to push in a more direct fashion, only as long as we hold here the area of support for the white interpretation, which, to be honest, I may be preferring to allow the actual bottom for. And in this case, it would be the $8.2 level basically, since in the blue scenario, we have failed to find further continuation higher. We did break the area of support that I just removed, and yeah, there is no reason to really be focusing on it anymore. Now, since this wave 1 top, we were able to provide an area of support for a wave 2 correction. We were tracking a slightly different one for reasons outlined in the previous video, but I've been thinking of slightly different patterns we could be tracking within this push to the upside, and I actually feel confident even in an interpretation with a 5-wave structure where the beginning of the wave 1 would have been here in a 1-2 setup. Now, with this said, we so far in this wave 1 basically pushed into the 61.8% retracement of the orange interpretation, which tracks at least a larger ABC movement to the downside that could only provide a reset within the wave 2 in green, but we need to be aware that this pattern is also able, just as it is in the white scenario, to form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is also able to form to the downside a larger 1, 2, 3, 4th and the 5th. But for now, I am actually decently confident in us managing to form at least another high within this area. Even if we don't get the actual wave 3, that is not necessarily the high probability part, but the next 5-wave move to the upside is a decent consideration, which we should have, because we have here a potential initial wave 1 to the upside on a smaller time frame, which, yeah, even if it's not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it could at least work out with decent probabilities as an ABC movement. Now, whether we succeed in breaking the area of resistance, we do not know at this point. It highly depends on how the outlook for this stock will be amongst the overall market sentiment. And I want to stress once again that even if we fail to form here a 3rd, 4th and a 5th within the white interpretation, and we actually find the resistance and have a reset and a push to the downside within the green scenario, within this wave 2, it's not a problem for the large time frame perspective, because it still has another chance here to form the larger 1, 2, 3 to the upside, especially since we have an interesting 5-wave move within this area. And for now, there really isn't much else to look internally except for this structure to the downside within this wave 2, because since we have formed this low, we are actually also able to track this as a 5-wave move, which is somewhat of a warning sign. Yeah, this is a structure that could prove difficult to break through the resistance and continue in this overall larger structure uptrend. And while on many charts we actually struggle to form 5-wave moves, on this chart we rather struggle to form corrections, and everything in every direction seems to be a possible 5-wave move. And in such a scenario, I do need to be prepared for an internal 1-2 setup in this area, for which we can have an area of resistance that could be part of the orange interpretation, where a more significant top may already be in place. We may have something like an ABC movement within the green scenario, in which case we have here a potential 1-2 setup to watch out for at the levels between the $11 all the way up to the $13.9 level, where a break above the internal 78.6% retracement could allow us to have more confidence and increase the probabilities of a more direct breakout to the upside. But for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.